When I turn big decade birthdays, I spend the entire year preparing for it. And I have a September birthday. So it gives me all of the year to prepare for September. And I've always loved having a September birthday because I love school, always loved school, always look forward to going back to school, and stayed in school for many, many years. I often think that's one of the reasons I'm a lawyer, because I got to go to school for many, many years in order to do so. So September always feels like the start of something for me also, as well as being my birthday and the start of my next year. So I have been taking all of 2025 to think of 1965 to 2025 and what that means. And I remember when I was turning 30, so it was 1995, is that right? Yeah, so I was turning 30. I had just spent the summer in Europe. I had been in Paris and I had gone to Shakespeare and Company, that famous bookstore, and I'd gotten this little book, and it was all the stories of all these people who had traveled to Paris. And I was reading that book, and I was sitting on a plane, I was waiting for it to take off, and I was thinking about my life the summer before I turned 30, in this big way that I do of reflection. And I said in my journal, if this plane were not to land, if my life were to end, I could not say that I haven't been given enough. I could not say that I have not had the fruits and the wine of life, and I wasn't 30 years old. And then I hadn't even met my husband. Then I hadn't even had my children. I didn't even have my law practice. So now, 30 years on, as I look at going into 60 or stepping into my 60s. So I recently went to a CeCe Winans concert. She's a Christian singer and absolutely fabulous. It was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. But she reflected a little bit on having stepped into her 60s. And I thought, I like that. I'm going to borrow that. As I reflect upon stepping into my 60s, I think about how much more life has given me and how rich my life has been. And were I not to be able to have more decades, I have been given so much and led such a rich life that I could not say that I have been robbed. But please God, let me have 30 more. Let me have another 3 decades. There's so much that I still wish to achieve. So as I think of that girl turning 30 who had had her childhood, that poor childhood in Ireland, having grown up in the Troubles in Northern Ireland, and having had the opportunity to come to the US and was just starting that exciting journey of fulfilling education, about completing law school, and thinking about all the opportunities and all the places that life would take me. And then now to reflect back on that second 30 years where I was able to go into my 30s, become emotionally and financially independent, meet finally the love of my life, and go on to be lucky enough to have my 4 boys, the joy, the lights of my life. I didn't even have them when I was 30. To be able to have those boys and have the privilege of raising them, to have had the privilege of growing my business. I started this practice because of those boys. I started my practice because I didn't have an opportunity to have children until my mid-30s. I'd spent many, many, many years just working, because what else is there to do? What else would you do when you're single? So I didn't want to be running, leaving them again all the time now that I finally had them. So I started my own practice, and that journey over the course of those years, to be able to have a practice, to meet clients, to build that practice, to build a team, the privilege that has been, the business lessons that I've learned in those years, as well as all the community operation, all the community opportunities that having a practice led me to, including running for office, becoming a public official, including having the platform of Where the Road Rises, a television show in my own community, as well as the opportunity to build the motivational program that I did, to teach students, to go on the journey of discovering an ethical will and building the Share My Legacy program, to all the things that I've been able to build for myself, my family, my husband and boys, the legacy we have of Ireland, to be able to travel there, to be able to show them a life there, to show them where they came from. And to be honest, the last 5 years, when as my boys got a little bit older, and I was able to get a business coach and able to work deeply and intensely in my business, to work deeply on mindset, to remove whatever barriers were still there, to limitless success. That has been the capstone. That has been the crown and glory. And to be able now to step into my 60s in September with, my third boy. I just settled my third son into university yesterday in Tennessee. So, and my youngest son is in high school. So to feel that they're not fully raised, they do still need me, but not near as much as they did 10 years ago. So to have my oldest son also just got engaged. So the thought of healthy, happy marriages for them and grandbabies in the future, in these decades to come, I feel so blessed, so lucky, so completely happy beyond words. I feel so content. I feel that I have learned so many lessons to get me to where I am with my level of happiness and gratitude and a success now at 60. And here's the exciting thing. I have discovered since my 20s that every decade is richer and more productive and better than the one before. So 20s were full of excitement and travel and discovery and education. There was also a lot of loneliness and big unanswered questions. And then in my 30s, I was able to know things I didn't know in my 20s, take other directions, find my partner, start having my babies. So my 30s were better than my 20s. And then my 40s, oh my gosh, they say for a woman, life begins at 40s. And indeed it did. I knew things, discovered things, felt richer and wiser than I did in my 30s. So, and then the 50s were such a decade, such a gift. In my 50s is where I feel like I finally was able to take whatever mindset piece that was still there from my childhood, whatever I needed to learn with my self-worth and my value. I learned those lessons, that everything is an inside job, that the only limit we put on ourselves is what we put on ourselves, that life gives us limitless opportunity. So to make that realization that God is in me, as me, and that I have the ability to do anything that I want, anything that I put my mind to, anything that I can see, anything that I can believe, anything that I can feel can be mine, for me, for my family, for our legacy. The thought that I might get another set of decades to take all that learning and take it out into the world and be able to provide more for my family, provide more for my legacy, and give. One of the things that I've been excited to develop was Share My Legacy, the storytelling program that I have been working on really since 2006, almost 20 years. I've turned that program into something valuable that I know can help so many people in a short length of time, not taking years to write a book, but just a short little skim through their life and see its meaning, see its purpose, see its value. That I can take that program to those who don't know what their value is, that feel disenfranchised, that feel like they're at the bottom of the barrel the way that I once did, that I can take that program to them and help them look at their life, help them see that life is democratic, that one story is democratic, that no one story is more valuable than another. To take that program to people who don't know that and might not have the opportunity to realize that's absolutely huge. I feel that I can give back so much more now that I have been able to be very, very successful in my life. And then who knows? The great unknown. I am so excited. And one of the things that I have learned, that gratitude is it's everything. It's everything, because you cannot feel upset or left out, or you cannot feel scarcity and gratitude at the same time. And gratitude has such rich premium, because no matter what else we do get, if we don't have gratitude, we can't appreciate it. I just feel so grateful now for everything that life has offered me, and the opportunity to go out and just give back and keep learning. Just keep learning. Keep seeing what life has to offer.